How's everyone doing? Y'all ready for some live theater? Yes. I know, it's been so long. And I believe this is actually the first live theater show back in this space in a year and a half or something. So happy to be with you. I know. My name is Yancher. I am the Director of Development of Bike City Theater Company and one of the co-writers of this show along with Sandy.
I'm Sandy Holman, Director of the Culture Co-op, and we purposely kept this small and intimate, and we are excited to get your feedback on this progress.
Yep. Before we get started, I wanted to make a native land acknowledgement that BCTC is working on indigenous Patwin land. We encourage you to check out nativeland.ca and take a look at your own location and reflect upon the fact that when this nation was not empty when it was colonized. I also want to acknowledge Sandy and her wonderful organization, the Culture Co-op. I have been working with Sandy and the Culture Co-op for a little over a year now, and it's absolutely changed my life. I really encourage you to go check out what they do. It's absolutely incredible. And there's lots of awesome stuff going on at the Culture Co-op. The interns are doing fantastic things, and Sandy's doing some online awesome stuff that if you haven't checked it out already, you definitely should.
And I am honored beyond belief to work with Bike City Company via my dear little sister, Natalie, who introduced JR to me. He will never know, nor Joseph or Jordan, those three, and all the people involved with this, how it has impacted my heart and this long dream of mine that I've had forever. I give him a big hand. And this is important. His company has been doing theater for a long time. I had even never heard of them until Natalie introduced me, and I didn't know the gift she was bringing my way. And he's worked tirelessly to make this come to fruition. And it's been an honor to partner with him and Jordan and the other groups that have been helping us.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. So what are you seeing tonight? Yeah? This is a part of the Salon Reading Series. This is a quick show process. Actors have had as little as 2 rehearsals. We come together with a brand new script. In this case, you are seeing one that is in mid-form. So you are seeing the script in its entirety. We are throwing all the darts at the board at the same time and seeing which ones stick. So this is where you come in. We are going to have a talk back after the show, and we're very interested to hear what you think about the show, what stuck out to you, what worked for you, what made you sit forward, what made you sit back. So we're very interested in hearing and getting your feedback. So if you're willing to stay after the show, we're going to take just 5 minutes. People can use the restroom and stuff, and then we're going to come back and have a chat about the show. So if you're able to, that would be fantastic. Actors are masked for their own safety and for yours. And we ask that you please keep your mask on at all times during the performance. Also, if you haven't checked it out, we will have this out in the lobby for you. But this is our digital program. If you want information on anyone who's working on it, you can scan it through your phone, just like when you're at a restaurant nowadays. It's also attached to our demographic survey. It's very helpful to know who we are reaching. So if you're willing to do that, it is attached to the program. I also want to take a moment to say thank you to the City of Davis Arts and Cultural Affair Fund. The city has been supporting Bike City and making it so that we can do awesome stuff like this. And we could not do it without them, so let's give them a big round of applause. Sandy, do you have anything else to say to these folks?
So in my cultural tradition, and I was blessed by my grandfather, I was his spoiled, favorite child. Of course, we all were. But he's the one who taught me that it's really important to understand my African roots. He was my first Seba. Everyone say Seba.
Seba.
Say Seba.
Seba.
And we'll be asking you to join in during the production to speak in that tradition of call and response. My grandfather taught me that I needed to learn about my history, my roots, and that we don't start anything without getting the permission from an elder. So I'm putting this on myself, and normally My buddy, master drummer, Mamadou, would be here with us. He's here in spirit. He brought me this sacred drum back from West Africa. But I'm putting this on. This was made by my elder mother, who's sitting right there in the beautiful white with her hat. And I'm going to ask her for permission. Do we have permission to start our production?
You have my permission.
All right. Everyone say after me, Hotep.
Hotep!
Hotep.
Hotep!
And I want to remind you all with this sacred fabric, and I am doing a very small honoring today for time. I'm going to have you repeat after me. Say, I honor Elroy, the ancestors, the elders, and young people. May we go back and fetch our history. Say Sankofa.
Sankofa.
Say Sankofa.
Sankofa.
I lay this down on this drum in honor of those who've given their lives to teach us who we are so that we can blossom and grow. Everyone say after me. Sino.
Sino.
Umogi.
Imogi.
Dada.
Dada.
Baba Dia.
Baba Dia.
So, just after me. Say we.
Say we.
Say we.
Say we.
Are
Are
the
human
family.
family.
Clap your hands with me with the beat of the stick. Say we
We
are from Mama,
from
Africa.
Africa.
Say Africa
Africa
is the cradle
the cradle
of civilization. And so I want to remind you, in honor of my grandfather, Rufus X. Holman, who taught me everything that I knew that I was not learning in school, to learn beyond what you're learning in school, to read books, to learn from your elders and your ancestors. He wore this scarf almost every day of his life for 30 years. It's a reminder to you to flip your light on. You each have a light inside of you, magic, love, joy, and a purpose to do while we're here in our world. And we are just so honored to have this very intimate showing to keep you safe and us safe and to get some feedback. Thank you so much for coming. Give yourselves a big hand.
And I would also like to thank Yolo Arts and the California Arts Council, who have also made this possible. Let's give them a big round of applause. And Sandy, thank you for mentioning lights, because if you have your phone, let's make sure that it is off. That would be fantastic. No photography, especially flash during the performance, and your exits are right up there, and then also right down at the edge of these.
And I just wanted to remind you to use your imagination. We don't have all the three-dimensional aspects of what we would have done in a full production, the music, the backdrop, the projections, and all of that. So when you hear the narrator, use your imaginations as we kind of do a limited reading. But it is so beautiful. You're going to be so moved by these people. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And enjoy the show.
Thank you.
Grandpa is Everything Black Bad, an adaptation of a children's book by Sandy Lynne Holman, written by Jordan Brownlee, Sandy Lynne Holman, and J.R. Yancher.
Abaragane. I know that for you all, today is September 18th. But for our story, our date is January 1st, the first day of the new year and the last night of my favorite holiday, Kwanzaa. Now, many of you may not know anything about this annual gathering. You know, most young people these days they don't know anything about their kin, their history, their heritage. That's a shame. Today we honor our people, our land, our culture, our ways, and those who have come before us. Wahamu, Waziwako, that's Swahili. It means honor your elders. We must not forget our ancestors, our past. Our young people have been kept from true history for so long. It is time for you all to remember who you are. And the motherland to us all, Africa.
Is it time?
Oh, sure is. Habarigani, what's the news?
Habarigani, Grandpa. I've been studying all year long.
Oh, that's my baby girl. Now let's see what you remember. Okay. Where are your people from?
Africa.
And what did your people do?
Change the world.
Now, I know you remember the one about Queen Tea.
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, let me see.
Oh. Queen Tea.
Queen Tea.
Looks like me.
Looks like me. Now, King Tut.
Oh, King Tut.
Was not a nut.
Was not a nut.
Pharaoh Akhenaten.
Pharaoh Akhenaten.
Shouldn't be forgotten.
Shouldn't be forgotten.
Metanetcher.
Metanetcher.
No, was not a catcher.
Was not a catcher. All right, now y'all say it after us, okay? Queen Tea.
Queen Tea.
Looks like me.
Looks like me.
King Tut.
King Tut.
Was not a nut.
Was not a nut.
Pharaoh Akhenaten.
Pharaoh Akhenaten. Shouldn't be forgotten.
Shouldn't be forgotten.
Metanetcher.
Metanetcher.
Was not a catcher.
Was not a catcher. Wonderful job, guys.
Not bad, not bad. Now, NJ, tell me what you know, okay?
Oh, that's the original name for hieroglyphics.
Now, most people don't know, and it was spelled with no what, NJ?
No vowels, Grandpa.
Now, that's right. And what are we here to celebrate today, NJ?
Oh, Kwanzaa, obviously.
Okay, so let's hit it. I want to hear all the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
In English or Swahili this time?
Swahili and then English.
Okay, you got it, Grandpa.
Grandpa once again starts on the drums. NJ falls into place with him.
The first principle is,
Umoja, that means unity.
oh, Lord knows we need some unity. Now, second,
Kuchichagulia, or self-determination.
oh boy, I am determined. Now, let's hear the third principle.
Oh, Ujima,
And what does that mean?
collective work and responsibility.
And people ain't working together like they should be. Now, the fourth principle of Kwanzaa, NJ, lay that on.
Ujama,
That means?
cooperative economics.
Sure enough. Got any money you can lend me?
No, Grandpa.
Well, that's all right. Now, can you give me the fifth?
Oh, that's easy. Nia, that means purpose.
You're on a roll, NJ. Now, give me the sixth.
Oh, Kumba, that means creativity.
Now, bring it on home. And number 7.
Oh, number 7 is easy.
Oh, whoa, look who's coming up the street. Oh, my gosh. Aisha, Richard. Hey, Aisha, Richard, we got company.
What about number 7, Grandpa?
Oh, and NJ, I reckon we can save that one for later on, don't you think?
Oh, most definitely, Grandpa. Oh, they're almost here. Richard, how do I look?
Shoot, almost as good as me.
Very funny. Seriously, Richard.
Me too. Anyone looking half as fresh as yours truly ain't got nothing to worry about.
Oh, Mom and Dad, they're almost here.
All right, now, you all ready?
Happy Kwanzaa!
Harabagani.
Good to see y'all.
Abarigane Cedric.
Yes, Abadi Ganu to you too, sir.
You almost got it.
Did I get it wrong? I've been practicing in the car all the way here. By tomorrow, I'll be a Kwanzaa pro. I guarantee it.
I'm sure you will. And that reminds me, where's that grandson of mine?
He's right back here. Come on out, Yancher.
Oh, Amani, did you get everything I asked for?
Yes, sis, we got everything. You got the okra? Check.
The celery. Got it. Garlic?
Of course.
Peppers.
Yes, we got all that. We got 5 celery stalks, 4 tomatoes, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree.
All right. Just making sure. Well, now that we have everything we need, why don't you come help me in the kitchen, sis?
Okay, just let me get settled real quick before we get all into the rigmarole.
NJ, baby, why don't you come and help us too?
Oh, you got it, Mama.
And that is why I stopped wearing socks on Tuesdays.
Oh, I see.
Now, Cedric, you ready to hop on this grill?
Absolutely. Truth be told, though, I'm not much of a griller myself.
Shoot, we're gonna have to change that today. The first thing you need is some sandals. Yeah, come on.
Hey, Macho, what you doing over there? Come over here and sit on the porch with their grandpa.
Okay, Grandpa.
Kunanini. Well, what's going on, little man?
Nothing.
Oh, nothing, huh? Well, aren't you excited about your first Kwanzaa?
I guess so. Well, I don't really know anything about it, Grandpa.
You mean to tell me your mama ain't taught you nothing about Kwanzaa?
Not really. She said it was kind of boring.
Goodness gracious. Well, no wonder you ain't excited. Kwanzaa is my favorite time of year. It's a celebration of what it means to be black, of our history and our culture.
I'm not sure I get it, Grandpa.
Well, what do you mean, little man?
Why are we celebrating being black?
Why? Why on earth wouldn't we?
I guess I've been noticing things lately that make me wonder.
Well, what have you been noticing? What is bothering you?
Lots of things, Grandpa. Like,
With the help of projections, we enter Monstro's imagination.
it's dark, black, and scary in my bedroom at night, so I hide under the covers when Dad turns out the light. I like watching TV, but sometimes it makes me mad because most white things are good and most black things are bad. My mom says to hide when a black cat walks by because they bring bad luck when they look you in the eye. I think witches are scary, flying brooms and crooked hats. They always look scary and they always wear black. Black widow spiders are dangerous and quick. They have poison in their fangs that can make people sick. I saw a fire burning in the forest yesterday. It made the trees turn black and the animals run away. People wear the color black when somebody dies. They look very sad and have tears in their eyes. I like hitting baseballs with my friend Johnny and Ty. One day our ball hit Jasmine's face and she got a black eye. My friend Aiden's skin is darker than most others. He's called the black sheep in his family because he looks different from his brothers. Schools in black neighborhoods look toward and poor. But where my white friend goes seems to have a lot more. When I see the police, I get worried and I freeze. I've seen them hurt black people with their guns and with their knees. I see all of these things and I wonder if they're true. If everything black is bad, then am I bad too?
The projections and music fade as we return to the real world.
Nah, you just wait a minute, little man. You ain't bad, and neither is the color black. You just got to get that kind of thinking out of your head. It's folks who decide, what colors mean. Good or bad depends on how you look at things. Now, I love being black. As much as I love your auntie's gumbo soup, even more. Hey, but you don't tell your auntie that.
Well, I don't want to be black, Grandpa. People hurt us and call us names. My friends at school say black people used to be slaves.
Well, it's true, though, man. In the African language, Swahili, we refer to such time as the Mafa. It means great tragedy. Enslavement was a bad time in our history, to be sure, but that is only a small part of the past. It's a shame that's all people know about. See, that's why Kwanzaa is so important. It helps us to honor our amazing heritage.
What's heritage?
Well, heritage is our past, the history of our people. See, you and I come from a long line of amazing people. Have you learned about any black historical figures in school?
There's Martin Luther King, Jr. and Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, and well, I don't really know anyone.
Well, mind you, those are some great people for sure. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are a whole lot of great people and figures that make up your history. And the 7 principles of Kwanzaa help us to remember them all.
Kwanzaa has principles? Like at school?
No, little man, not that kind of principle. In this case, principle means a truth or a belief that we choose to make part of our lives. During Kwanzaa, see, we celebrate 7 principles, 7 nights for 7 principles to honor our history and our roots. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
See, there's a whole lot of things they don't teach you kids in school.
Grandpa reveals his own leather-bound history book.
That's why I want you to have this.
What is
This is our family Sankofa book. It's a history book. Sankofa, it means to go back and fetch your past so that we can understand how we became who we are and move forward toward a better future. Now, this book is made up of some very, very powerful chapters in our heritage. So go on, open it up.
With the help of projections, the book flips open and lands on the word and symbol for umoja.
what's that, Grandpa?
The first principle of Kwanzaa. It's umoja, the Swahili word for unity. Now, y'all come out and say it with me. Umoja.
Umoja.
All right, y'all pretty sharp out there. Yeah, that's right. Now, little man, you're going on to turn the page.
We see a projection of Sheikh Anta Diop with his name spelled out.
Who's that, Grandpa?
That Mancho is Sheikh Anta Diop, a brilliant African who represents Umoja in every sense of the word. How'd you like it if I told you more about him?
Yeah, I guess that would be okay.
Well, that's good, because I brought my drum here along to help us out. And it was passed down from my father and his father before him. It is part of our legacy now. Now, Sheikh Anta Diop was a Senegalese historian, one of the world's greatest minds, an anthropologist, a physicist, a scholar, and a politician. He's studying the origins of the humankind. He proved that Africa was the first home to humans and the cradle of civilization, and that some of them left the continent populating the world and seeing new nations. The brilliant scientist with the highest ethics, he showed the early Egyptians were black, saying the people themselves said they were related to those from the south, in fact. What we call Nubia, Ethiopia, and Sudan, and more, those southern roots are deep, created science, math, philosophy, and more before there was a Roman or a Greek. Diop and the old Theophile Obinga proved that there was what was being taught in books, left out the truth, ignored the evidence. Some didn't even look. He lived his life doing excellent research and started a radiocarbon lab, testing the skin of mummies, compiling his evidence, utilizing everything he had. He wanted black Africans to know, as well as others, that Africa led right from the start. In almost every discipline now known to people, we did more than our part. Now, Baba Diop said it is important to learn all of our proud history because then we can learn from our past excellence and make sure that our people are free.
That was tight, Grandpa.
But what?
All that stuff was in ancient Africa. I mean, it's cool, but it seems like it was a long time ago.
Well, that's true. But like Diop said, those things still impact the world today. And don't you worry, there's a ton in that book there that happened right here in the good old U.S. of A.
Cedric, go on and grab me that propane out the shed right there.
This one, sir?
That's the one. Bring it on over here. Let's light it up.
Oh dear, I better go make sure those knuckleheads don't burn the house down. You go on inside, and if you ask real nice, I bet your Auntie Ali will tell you about the next couple of principles.
Peace out, Grandpa.
Peace out, little man.
Grandpa hurries off towards the backyard. Moncho heads inside. Scene 2. Imani and Aisha are working on the gumbo. The smell has carried throughout the house.
You want your celery like I told you, sis? Yes, I got it. You don't have to go so fast, Last time y'all were here, Mancha was still potty training. I still got that little toilet somewhere in the garage. Oh, you can toss it if you want. I think Dad would really like to see you and the boys here more often. Y'all are always welcome to come and stay during the summer. Aisha, thank you for inviting me to our family home. But Cedric is always being called to the base. I'm stuck at the hospital for what feels like 9 days a week.
Come on, sis. These are our roots. I know tradition ain't really your thing, but I think we could all benefit from a little more time together. Don't you think?
I'll try to get us down here on time for Christmas next year.
And Kwanzaa?
Uh-huh, sure.
They continue to chop.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Aisha.
Is that my favorite little nephew? Oh my, you ain't so little no more. Oh, and you look just like your daddy.
Thank you.
Do you need something, sweetie?
Well, Grandpa wanted me to ask Aunt Aisha about the 7 principles of Kwanzaa.
Well, I see you have the Sankofa book. Why don't we take a look for ourselves? Sis, would you mind finishing the chopping? History is calling, and I need to answer.
Okay, tell them I said hi.
A projection appears on the screen about the Kuji Chagala.
The second principle of Kwanzaa is Kuji Chagalia, and it's my favorite. Kuji Chagalia means self-determination. Kuji Chagalia. Say it with me now. Kuji Chagalia.
Kuji Chagalia.
Wow, that was very good. Kuji Chagalia means self-determination. What does it mean?
Self-determination.
You got it. If you believe in yourself, you can achieve amazing things. Give that page a turn, Mancha.
Bessie Coleman.
She was the first African-American woman to become a pilot. Let's take a look.
Projections of Bessie Coleman appear on the projection screens in the style of a 1920s newsreel.
Young Bessie Coleman heard stories of World War I pilots soaring through the skies. She wanted so badly to join them, but because she was a black woman, most told her that she couldn't. Rather than give up on her dream, Bessie decided to work twice as hard. Despite her supporters, no flight schools would teach a black woman here in the United States. She flew to France, a country where many of the first female pilots earned their licenses. In 1921, after several months and plenty of hard work, Bessie Coleman became the first African-American woman to earn a pilot's license. Once Bessie returned to America, she was met with great fame. Magazines printed her picture, newspapers interviewed her. She was adored by black and white folks alike. Pretty soon, Bessie became an outstanding aerobatic pilot called a barnstormer. Black people, some people didn't like that she insisted black people come to her shows, but she took a stand. She hoped to raise enough money so she could one day open her own school to teach other black aviators how to fly. Many black pilots still celebrate her today and teach flying lessons in her honor. If you ask me, Bessie Coleman represents Kuji Chagalia in every way.
Sick, Auntie Addie. She's just like Storm from the X-Men.
You know, Matcha, Bessie Coleman inspired me to become an aerospace engineer. Hearing about Bessie soaring through the skies really made me realize that I could help others do it too. Although I think that a spacecraft is a little bit bigger than a biplane.
I think so too.
An image of the word Ujima appears on the projection screens.
See, now, the third principle of Kwanzaa is Ujima, and that means collective work and responsibility. Ujima. Ujima. Say it with me now.
Ujima.
Which means collective work and responsibility. What does it mean?
Collective work and responsibility.
And that's the sound of y'all working together. And come to think of it, this gumbo is a great example of Ujima.
The gumbo?
Yes, this pot of gumbo is being made from the hard work of the whole family. Come take a look. You see, this gumbo recipe has been in the family for nearly 50 years. Your grandmother used to make it for every special occasion. And right before she went to the other side, she shared her recipe so we could keep it going forever. Right now, all the grown-ups are in this family are contributing something to the gumbo. Grandpa found this trusty stock pot. I made a thick roux from flour and fat. Your mother did a wonderful job chopping up the onions and these peppers. Oh, and your Uncle Richard should be out there grilling the sausages and boiling the chicken, shrimp, and crab legs with your father. This year, even your cousin NJ is pitching in with a very special ingredient.
Well, it sure smells like Ujima's working.
Those are our family secret ingredients at work. It's all about family and helping each other out. Now, I've got to run to the garage and help Richard with the sweet tea. You know how heavy-handed he is with the sugar. It's always more sweet than tea. Do you mind stirring the gumbo, sis? Doesn't seem like I have a choice.
Is everything all right now?
Huh? Oh, yes. Everything's fine, baby. Why don't you go see what the boys are up to in the backyard?
Scene 3. As we transition back outside, we hear Grandpa and Cedric. They are seated in lawn chairs next to the barbecue.
Did you know that Kwanzaa was created right here in the United States? Did you know?
Really?
Yes, sir. Nana Karinga created Kwanzaa in the 60s. Yeah, it was a tough time. And had been that way for quite a while. It was after the Watts riots, and he wanted black people to stand up together. Malona had spent years educating himself and exploring ways to promote solidarity as we struggled against racism, injustice, and other challenges. He wanted to connect the African people with their roots and celebrate who we are, among other things.
I didn't know that, sir.
Well, don't feel bad. It's a lot of people don't know anything about it.
Yes, sir.
Now, son, now you ain't on a military base, so you got to stop calling me sir.
I'm sorry, sir. It's just that Amani said that you're big on representing and respecting your elders.
Well, you can respect me and call me Rufus at the same time.
Yes, sir. Ha! I mean, Rufus.
Hey there, little man. How's that gumbo looking in there?
Oh, it looks good, Grandpa. Auntie Aye told me all about it.
Monty says she's the best.
Hey, sure enough, sure enough. She's my daughter, ain't she? Now, what else do you know, Macho?
I learned about Fuji Chakalia and Uji.
Well, how about that? I just got done schooling your daddy here on the same thing. Now, are y'all ready for number?
Sweet tea, I got the sweet tea. Who is thirsty?
Well, now, Richard, it ain't polite to interrupt your elders while they speaking.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Rufus. I didn't know.
Yeah, well, there's a whole lot you don't know. He got the big fancy degree, but not much common sense.
Ooh, hey, now, I know a thing or two about a thing or two.
Well, then, why don't you tell these boys here the fourth principle of Kwanzaa? Yeah, put that in your PhD to use.
Okay, go on and open up that book there, Boncho.
A projection of Ujamaa symbol appears on the projection screens.
The fourth principle of Kwanzaa is Ujamaa. In Swahili, it means cooperative economics. Ujamaa. Now, say it with me, y'all. Ujamaa. That's right. Ujamaa means cooperative economics. What does it mean?
Cooperative economics.
All right, my specialty. When our people work together, they can accomplish great things. Go on and give that page a turn, Moncho.
We see a projection of Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey?
That's right, young fella. An early example of black entrepreneurship and ingenuity.
Projections of Marcus Garvey and his life accompany the following story.
Born in 1887 in St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica, Garvey was destined to be a mover and a shaker. He entered his industry a bright-eyed beginner, and in no time at all he was a foreman and a printer. But Garvey saw that some things weren't right. He saw his workers were unhappy, and he organized a strike. He was fired from his job, but he was undeterred. He knew his people had a voice unheard. Garvey knew that he had to delve much deeper. He enrolled in courses and became a public speaker. Ambition great and far above his station, he traveled abroad to gain a worldly education. Garvey had a lot to say, and back at home, he formed the UNIA.
The Universal Negro Improvement Association.
That's right. He was a busy bee, spoke of unity, and he was gaining more attention every day. He was a busy bee, he moved to NYC as Marcus Garvey's plan is underway. He was a busy bee, he formed community, and economic independence was his game. Oh yes, he had a lot to say, and it affects us every day, and everybody knew his name. Yes, Marcus Garvey stood up tall and spoke of unifying all people of the African diaspora. He started a newspaper called the Negro World that was distributed in 40 countries, and even brought up a small fleet of ships called the Black Star Line, with which he established trade with the country of Liberia.
Wow, that's a lot for one man to do.
Well, that was just the beginning, Moncho. Marcus Garvey's ideas spread across the world, and black communities started organizing like never before.
Yeah, there was even a neighborhood in Oklahoma that folks started calling the Black Wall Street. Greenwood was one of the wealthiest black communities in the entire nation. Did you know?
Yes, Rufus, I did know.
Well, did you know that Greenwood had over 600 owned businesses?
Yes, Rufus, I know.
21 churches,
Yeah.
2 movie theaters, its own school system, and a bank?
Yes, Rufus, I was getting to that.
Oh, just making sure.
Well, did you know, Rufus, that black families in Tulsa owned 6 private airplanes despite there being only 2 airports in the whole state of Oklahoma. Did you know?
No, Richard, I didn't know that.
Now, Moncho, you remember the name of Marcus Garvey. He was a titan of black industry, and his ideas influenced many great thinkers, like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. The concepts of black pride and Pan-Africanism would not be as well known as they are today without who?
Marcus Garvey.
All right, now that's right. Ooh, Jama boys. When we stick together and support each other, there is nothing we can't accomplish.
Well, that's not bad, Richard, not bad at all.
See, I told you, I know a few things.
Well, that was all great and all, but I've heard of Marcus Garvey, and people said a lot of bad things about him too.
Well, in my opinion, son, if you ain't had nothing bad said about you, then you've never stood up for nothing.
I don't know about him.
George Washington?
What?
George Washington, Grandpa.
That's right, first president of our country. Now, some consider him to be a great hero. You see him on the dollar bills, there are monuments, and even a whole state named after him. But did you know that George Washington owned slaves? In fact, many of our presidents and founding fathers did. Did you know?
Well, I guess I never thought about it like that.
Well, history can be complicated. You know, nobody's perfect. Not Marcus Garvey, not George Washington either. Now, when it comes to history, we got to understand that there are different facts that are shared, depending on who's telling the story. Now, people of color often do not get to tell their own stories like white people do. We can't just rely on what we are told. We need to read books by diverse authors and learn the whole story of the person's life. See, only then will we get the full picture of them. You boys hear me?
Yes, sir. I mean, yes, Rufus.
You done knocked the wax right out of his ears, Rufus.
Well, that's all right. We all got a lot of learning to do.
We most definitely do. Now, I've got to get these sausages here into this house before Aisha pops me upside my head.
Richard! Richard! Quit dawdling and get your rear out in here with the sausage.
Ooh, I'm in trouble now.
And y'all better quit hogging that sweet tea.
Ooh, we all in trouble now.
Now, Moncho, what do you think about all that we just learned?
Well, it sounds complicated, Grandpa, but I think I understand.
Yeah, that's good, though, man. You got to remember that there's a lot more to history than they teach you in school. You got to do your own schooling if you want to, learn your full history. Why your grandpa didn't go to no, fancy college like your Uncle Richard. But I tell you, I learned something new every single day. And the best way to start learning, Moncho, is asking questions. Don't never be afraid to ask questions. You hear me?
Yes, Grandpa.
And speaking of, why don't you go find your cousin, NJ, and the next 2 principals that just happen to be her favorite. So go on, ask some questions. I'm going to make sure there's not been a war raged over the sweet tea.
Scene 4. Moncho returns to the front porch and comes across NJ at the table using a mortar and pestle.
MJ?
Oh! Hey, Moncho. Oh, didn't see you there.
That's okay. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm making filet powder for tonight's gumbo. No.
Oh, yeah. I used to said you were helping with the special ingredient. So what is filet powder?
Oh, filet powder is made up of crushed up dried sassafras leaves. We picked up the leaves last week, let them dry, and now I'm using this mortar and pestle to grind them into a powder. When the gumbo's finished, we'll add some of the Fili powder to make it thicker and give it that nice, earthy flavor.
Wow, that looks pretty hard.
Believe me, it is. We could have put the leaves in a coffee grinder, but where's the fun in that? Do you want to try? I mean,
Maybe later.
oh. Okay. Hey, I see you got the Sankofa book. I remember reading that when I was your age. You do? Oh, sure. Grandpa taught me all about the amazing people who changed the world. And I still love learning about them. You mind if I take a look?
The symbol and spelling of Nia appears via projections.
Oh my goodness. Here we go. The fifth principle of Kwanzaa is Nia. Nia means purpose. Now y'all say it after me. Nia.
Nia.
Wow. Just rolls off the tongue so nice for y'all. Awesome.
This, have a reason to do something?
That's right, Masha. Now, let's turn the page and see what we find. Oh.
There are projections that reveal pictures of James Baldwin.
Who's James Baldwin?
Oh, James Baldwin. He was a writer, an activist, wasn't afraid to speak his mind about whatever he thought was wrong.
Projections of Baldwin's life appear on the screen.
In 1940, James Baldwin came onto the scene by writing short book reviews in magazines. But soon he realized he did not like the way that he was treated for being black or treated for being gay. At 24, he fled to France to see if they'd give his writing a chance. Pretty soon his major works had begun, like Go Tell It on the Mountain and Notes of Native Son. Discriminating against others was nothing new, but to write this issue was considered taboo. James knew his purpose, so he made every message word heard. Many people listened and hung on to each and every word. James's goal was not to solve problems. He wanted to outline what they are. If people could understand lives different from theirs, then a solution may not be far.
James Baldwin really did have Nia.
I mean, he sure did.
Awesome. That was a really great poem.
Thanks. I mean, I actually wrote it myself.
You write poems?
Oh yeah, it's really fun. I get to express myself and get really creative. And speaking of,
The symbol and spelling of Kumba is projected on the screens.
Aha. Yep. And Kumba, the sixth principle of Kumba. The sixth principle. It's Kumba, right? It means creativity. Kumba. Now, say it after me. Kumba.
Kumba.
Oh, beautiful. Another one of my, all right. Now I want you to turn the page.
Now we see projections of Emonia Lewis.
One of my other favorite artists. Emonia Lewis made some of the most amazing sculptures, like Wooing of Hiawatha and Poor Cupid and The Death of Cleopatra.
Wow. She was really talented.
She was, but not everyone wanted to believe it. I mean, see for yourself.
The projections shift from Emonia Lewis's art to her life.
Mary Emonia Lewis was her full given name. Though she did amazing art, she never reached the same fame as other artists of her day like Picasso and Van Gogh. After we take a look at her life, you'll see why I love her so. Woman, black and Native American, in a field primarily masculine, recreating form, being told to just give up. Once she had made Rome her home, some of the hate she had left was gone, but then she was told she was not good enough. Chiseled marble, breathing life, long hours, aching hands. Yet some demanded she prove she didn't have any help. But Emonia did her work. She knew her worth. She found beauty in earth and would not let her name be dragged through the dirt.
Man, I'm glad she never gave up. Emonia Lewis's art is fantastic.
Oh, definitely. One day, I want to be a great artist, just like them, getting to write poems and make stories. It's always been my dream. And I mean, hey, enough hard work, who knows what could happen?
Man, I learned about almost all of the principles of Kwanzaa. Umoja means unity, Kujichagulia means self-determination.
That's right. I mean, Ujima means collective work and responsibility. Utama means cooperative economics.
Iyo means purpose.
Kumba means creativity.
And that leaves one more, endo.
Oh yeah, the seventh principle. I mean, it's really cool. If you could find Grandpa, I bet he'll tell you all about it.
Okay, later, endo.
Later, Monzo.
Hey, Endo, can I try grinding a foot?
Of course, Lucas. Come on.
Scene 5. We transition to Imani standing near the table to take a break to get away from the rigmarole for a minute. And then Grandpa joins her.
Hey there, Monty, how things shaping up in there?
Oh, it's coming together, Dad.
Well, that's good. Why don't you come over and sit with me?
Now, no tricks are ribbing me, Dad.
Ah, never.
You have any luck with that grandson of yours?
Well, I reckon he'll come around. But the way I see it, he ain't the only one ain't acting right.
I'm fine, Dad.
Yeah, well, fine ain't okay, and okay ain't great. And I want my daughter to be great, so you're going to have to explain a thing or two. See, you used to love Kwanzaa. When you were young, you loved it. Now today you act like someone's dragging you into the dungeon or something.
I'm just tired, Dad. The hospital has been an absolute zoo with the virus hitting us so hard. My son is seeing black kids being hurt, people doing hateful things, and hearing about a lot of people dying, and it scares him silly. The truth be told, it scares me too.
Well, no, that's understandable, Imani. I know things ain't been easy lately, and in fact, it hasn't been easy for centuries for many people. This is why Kwanzaa is so important. It helps us to come together and stay the course. Besides, you're my daughter, and you're strong. And that boy of yours sees and understands a lot more than we give him credit for.
Did he say what's the matter?
The boy thinks being black is no good, Imani. I come to find out he don't know nothing about his past, his people, his heritage. Now, how come you ain't taught him the things I brought you up on?
It seems like none of it really matters, Dad. We keep fighting for change, and every time we feel like we've gotten somewhere, it just turns out to be a different coat of white paint on the fence. We could fight all of our lives, Dad, but what does it really matter?
No, it matters for Mancho, for all our young people who have grown up with no idea who they are. People without knowledge of their past history, origin, or culture is like a tree without roots. Marcus Garvey said that.
It's just words, Dad.
Just words? Oh, just words. Oh. The right words in the right order can change the world. They can call us to action, inspire us. You got to think back, Imani. Think back to what inspired you.
I don't know.
Oh, I bet you know, young lady. I bet you do.
What are you getting at, Dad?
Whenever someone asks me about my daughter, Imani, I tell them my daughter is caring, smart as a whip, and uses all the energy she got to help other people. Now, you always knew that you wanted to be a nurse. Now, ever since you were young. And do you remember why?
Imhotep.
That's right. You sat on my lap right there, and I told you all about Imhotep.
I haven't thought about that in a long time, Dad.
You see? You remember.
Yeah, I remember, Dad.
But the stories of our people used to make you come alive when you were young. We got to remember who we are, Imani, where we come from. That we can do great things. And we got to teach that to the young macho. Now, can you do that, Imani?
I can try, Dad.
Well, here comes somebody who I sure would love to hear all about it. About it, got any? Well, what's the news?
I just learned about Nia and Kumba, Grandpa.
Oh, did you now?
Yep, and Monia Lewis and James Baldwin. I think you like Monia Lewis.
Oh, I know all about Edmonia Lewis.
You do?
I sure do.
Your mama knows a lot of things, Moncho. Might even tell you about the principle number 7 if you lucky.
What's principle number 7, Mama?
Well, Moncho, principle number 7 is Imani.
Well, that's your name, Mama.
It means faith in Swahili.
Faith like in church?
Well, Moncho, faith means something different for everyone. People have different ways of seeing their world, old man. For Kwanzaa, Imani means that we believe in everything that is special about our people as a community. Culture, family. That's why I named your mama Imani, because she is a part of my faith and my love.
Oh, sad.
It's true. I love my family more than anything in the world, and I don't care who knows it.
Well, Grandpa, I see a lot of people on TV who seem angry and aren't loving each other. Our leaders are mean sometimes, and they don't seem like they care about poor people or people with dark skin. I see the protesters on TV, and they don't seem very happy at all.
Well, Macho, you're right. Sometimes folks are hurting deep down inside themselves, and unfortunately that can make them hurt other people. But tell me now, why do you think those people are out there marching?
Dad says it's because they want things to change.
That's right. And as I see it, what all those people really want is for everyone to respect one another. They want justice, equal rights. Yeah, families need health care, jobs, good schools, and so much more. You see, these things will give people more faith in our country. And you see, little man, protest is a form of faith. Faith that things will change for the better. And if we all stick together, now, come on over here. And sit on your grandpa's lap. Come on now, boy. No, never mind. You got too heavy.
But you got it, y'all. What's the news?
Hey, not bad, Cedric. And you just in time to learn about the principle number 7 with us. As a matter of fact, where's the rest of my beautiful family? Hey, y'all come on in here now.
Looks like you've been holding out on me all these years.
What do you mean, honey?
Principle number 7. Imani?
We caught him up to speed, Rufus.
Did you know?
Show enough, Grandpa.
Well, good on you. Now, Macho, go and open up that book of yours. And there's a long line of important people of faith in the history of our people. Folks you probably never heard of.
The book opens and we see it flip to an image and symbols for Imani.
Take it away, Imani.
The 7th principle of Kwanzaa is Imani. 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 Now, what's the 7th principle of Kwanzaa?
Imani.
Yes, sir. And Imani means faith. What does Imani mean?
Faith.
I got it. Now give that page a flip, little man.
Marshall turns the page, revealing Imhotep and his name scribbled under in hieroglyphics.
Who's that?
Imhotep, Mancho, a great man of faith who lived thousands of years ago. He was an Egyptian high priest.
An African.
And much, much more.
Egypt, like the pyramids?
That's right. And Imhotep designed the very first one, 6 stories high.
Well, some say 7. And at that time was the tallest structure in the world.
Imhotep was an observer of the universe. He invented the 30-day calendar based on cycles of the moon. He was a scientist,
A mathematician.
A poet.
and the world's first physician who documented hundreds of illnesses and their cures. He was a genius, and the reason your mama works at the hospital now.
Imhotep was such a great man that after his death, he was honored by other Africans as a god. You ever hear the phrase, eat, drink, and be merry? Well, that was Imhotep.
And Moncho, he is just one of the many brilliant people of faith in our history.
Like Marcus Garvey.
Who said the world today is indebted to us for the benefits of civilization. They stole our arts and sciences from Africa. Then why should we be ashamed of ourselves?
And we can't forget our amazing women who fought for freedom and equality. Pioneers who had a strong sense of faith.
Ida B. Wells,
Investigative journalist, civil and women's rights activist.
And co-founder of the NAACP.
she said, the way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them.
Yeah, that's right, baby girl. We got to remember, amazing spirits like Garvey and Wells inspired many people of faith, like Malcolm X.
Who said, I believe in human beings and that all human beings should be respected as such, regardless of their color.
And Claudette Colvin, who at just 15 years old refused to leave her seat several months before Rosa Parks did. She said, I couldn't move. History had glued me to the seat.
That's my baby girl.
And little man, there are many faiths among people, Amancho. Why, the greatest boxer the world has ever known was an African American and a Muslim.
Muhammad Ali. Daddy told me all about him.
Did he now?
Looks like a butterfly, stinging like a bee.
Yes, sir. He said, don't count the days. Make the days count.
Yeah, he peacefully protested the Vietnam War and shook things up big time.
Like Colin Kaepernick.
Who said, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything.
Yes, indeed. And like all of the people marching today, those people wanted to see change. We got to have faith, little man. Faith that we can change the world.
Like Amanda Gorman, who said, the new dawn blooms as we free it. For there's always light if we're brave enough to see it. If we're brave enough to be it.
I want to march, Mama. I want to change the world.
Then we will do it, Moncho.
Little man, we will keep on marching. We will educate ourselves and combat hate.
Breathe.
Eugenics.
And systemic oppression.
Yeah, just like your mama there, Macho. We will use our gifts to make a difference.
We can do anything, Mama.
I have faith that we can, Moncho. I have faith that we can, Dad. I have faith that we will make this world a better place.
Y'all, we have to celebrate Kwanzaa again next year.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, Cedric, you ain't seen nothing yet. Not till you try that Eastern Spain gumbo.
Oh, yes.
Oh, shoot. Y'all better get your butts in here before it's all stone cold.
Aisha leads the way into the house, followed by Richard, NJ, and Cedric. Imani notices Moncho and Grandpa lingering and turns back at the door.
Y'all coming?
Oh, you go on, Imani. We'll be right behind you.
All right, Dad, but don't be too long. You know how I is when it comes to dinner on the table.
Oh, I know.
I love you both very much.
Oh,
I love you too, Mama.
Lord knows I love my family. Yeah, you see, Macho, it ain't the color of someone's skin that makes them good or bad. It's what's inside their heart. That's what counts. The more love you give from your heart, the better you are as a person. No matter what people say or do. You understand?
I sure do, Grandpa. I'm really glad we got to learn about so many amazing people today. Maybe someday I can be great just like they are.
Well, if you ask me, you already are. I love you, little man.
I love you too, Grandpa.
And just you remember, Moncho, life is what you make it. Now, let's get a move on. It's time for the libation ceremony.
We transition to the dinner table with the whole family bustling about it. It is beautifully decorated with gumbo and traditional food of plenty. On the table is the kanara, and at the head of the table, where Grandpa goes, is the libation cup.
In honor of Africa, our ancestors and our elders, we honor Kwanzaa and who we are on this day. To the north, the south, east, and west, we pour this water on this plant, honoring our deep roots, our struggles, our victories, and hopes for the future. May we all teach our youth how magnificent they are and what they have, that they have a gift inside them. May they never be ashamed of their wonderful dark skin, no matter how light or dark. I say a special word over Mancho, my little man who will carry on long after I've gone. Black is beautiful. Brown is beautiful. All people are beautiful if they choose to be. There is only one race.
The human race.
Sure enough. And we must let love and the principles of Kwanzaa guide our way. Umoja,
Kuji Chagalia, Ujima,
Hujama.
Nia
Wumba.
and Imani.
yes, old man, yes.
Happy Kwanzaa, everyone.
To our people, our history.
And our heritage.
Now let's go eat some gumbo.
Grandpa steps out, picks up the history book, and opens it. The image of the family at the table is mimicked in the book. They are written into history. As Grandpa reads from the book, Mancho moves to sit on the porch and begins drumming.
From that day on, Imani, Cedric, and Mancho remembered the dark color of their skin and their African heritage. Just remember that it's a good thing, a very good thing. Happy Kwanzaa to my friends. Sankofa, let the celebration begin.
The book flips closed, going back to the Sankofa symbol and the cover. The projections fades, and Mancho's drumming rings out triumphantly into the darkness, and then stops with a flourish. The end.
Thank you, everyone. Let's give them one more big round of applause. And Sandy Lynne Holman up there. And Joseph Lecter, thank you so much. Our goal later in the year, 2022, is to bring this thing to y'all a little more fully realized, to get the projections going, to get all of that going. But we need your help to do it. So if you want to help us out and figure out how you can be helped or connect us with resources that might want to help us get this